Good evening, everyone, and welcome to ESNLateNight, episode 56. As always, guys, I'm your host, Hype, or Josh. Tonight, I'm joined by the one and only Creeper. How you doing, man?
Can't complain, man. Just another day in paradise. Roster changes galore, a bunch of stuff happening, so good content for tonight.
That should be a really good show. Guys, obviously, it was another long day of changes, like you said. Teams have been making changes, and we even had a team do a full 360 and pick the players back up. We're going to get right into that. I'm going to list down the roster changes here. We have Curse Orange completely disbanding. Curse Black dropped Burns, then picked him back up probably 3 hours later. Denial picked up Saints and replays with Zuma for a team of three. Obviously, they talked about bringing Natach in. We'll talk about that later when Zuma actually joins us in the show. Some players tweet out they were retiring. Ding2, Legal, Slacked all tweet out they're retiring. John and Replays did. John ended up obviously coming out and saying, he changed his mind, he's going to play. And Replays obviously went on to play with Denial for now. From there, it got more intense. Formal left FaZe Black, or just Team FaZe now, to go to Envy. Parasite and Study were dropped from EnVyUs and leaving FaZe Black looking for one. So right now EnVyUs is Nameless, Merc, JCap, and Formal. So guys, we're gonna go really into depth with all these roster changes soon. However, due to time constraints, Hastro needs to come on now. That way we can get discussion going, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. So we're gonna take a quick 30-second break. When we come back, Hastro will be with us talking about the changes, and we'll go from there. Guys, we'll be back. Welcome back to ESN Late Night, guys. Once again, I'm Hype, and we are now joined by Hastro to talk about the envious change. Hastro, how you doing?
Oh, it's a long day, man, but I'm all right.
Yeah, understandable. It's always rough. Let's just start from the beginning. Obviously, you guys went into Anaheim. Everyone was expecting a pretty high placing. I don't know if you were disappointed with the placing or what, but I imagine it wasn't what you were expecting. So if you just want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't exactly, I expect the guys to just perform well and to, I guess, their potential whenever we go to an event, and yeah, I mean, we're disappointed, obviously, with fifth place. Our team is typically always, those top four teams and the bigger tournaments, top two in most of them. So, when we have a fifth place finish, especially, losing to Curse Black, I think, a team that we've performed extremely well against this whole entire year. It was just one of those situations where, we knew something was wrong, and leading up to that point, there were a lot of things I felt like the team could have done to prevent that scenario.
Yeah, that's understandable. Go ahead.
Yeah, after the weekend and the placing, everybody kind of knows Envy's always that top 4 team, or at least that's the goal in the end here. So how did this decision go down? I mean, I'm assuming you guys traveled back early this week and just sat down and all had to talk about it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I won't go into full depth of how all the ins and outs of what happened, but I mean, essentially, we just felt like the team's focus wasn't there, where it could be. I personally, in my personal opinion, I feel like there were a lot of distractions there for the guys that they allowed themselves to get distracted by, and I think that's happened at the past couple of events. And after X Games, we basically had a discussion about, hey, look, let's go into Anaheim without making these same mistakes. And I pointed things out that I thought were getting done wrong, and the team didn't correct those. So when players, there are only so many times at this level you can tell somebody, from a management perspective, that they need to do their job, and when they don't do their job, then you have to just move on. There's no time to waste with our team at the level where we're at now, and it's not fair to the rest of your teammates when you decide to do things or you take actions that don't coincide with what you're there to do, and it just upsets your teammates, and it's just a distraction. So if that's the scenario you put yourself or you put your team in, then you have to just expect not to be around for too much longer.
Yeah, totally understandable. So, after the event, obviously, you guys talked about roster changes, I imagine, and it's been rough. I mean, I know Nameless is still. He was at Nameless's house earlier this week, and they were all hanging out and everything. So the relationships there personally still seem good. So, do you want to talk about like why you made the decision or why the team made the decision to drop Study and Parasite and what went into it?
Well, I mean, I basically just covered that, and that's as far as I'll go. I mean, like I said, I don't want to point fingers at anybody. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything. I mean, at the end of the day, I told you, that's really why we made the decision. We felt like the focus wasn't there 100%, and that affected the team chemistry. And when that happens, like, you're just set up for failure. So you have to make a change. And I mean, that's why you see a lot of teams that make changes here. I mean, when teams don't have that kind of chemistry and bond with each other and confidence, it's really about confidence to go and win a championship, then it's just wrong, and you need to make a change. So, I mean, that's what we did there. I do want to address one thing that I see in the chat, which I've been getting a lot of tweets about. Like, people are kind of calling me a hypocrite because at one point I talked about, players shouldn't dictate or just leave teams on their own accord or whatever. So I just want to make it public that I did actually contact FaZe. As soon as I heard players were talking to other players, I contacted Tommy right away and discuss formal, instantly. And, that's one of the things that I still do. So anybody out there calling me a hypocrite, you don't know that I actually did call Tommy. I don't have to come out and tell you what I do every hour of the day.
There's always going to be people like that, man.
Yeah, right now I will tell you that, the first thing I do is contact the other team's owner and a player that we're interested in bringing onto our team. And that's the way it'll always be with me. I mean, and what I can say is that even though Formal wasn't even under contract with FaZe, we're still giving FaZe an offer to bring Formal onto our team, and we don't have to do that, but we are. So take it for what it is.
Absolutely. And after the decision was made, what was it? Merc, Nameless, or yourself that said, Formal, JCap, let's go after these guys. What do you see in them that made you guys want to go get them?
It's really, honestly, their ability to focus, man. I mean, obviously, they're both highly skilled players. I mean, we have to have highly skilled players on our team to compete, the way we've been competing this year. I felt like Study and Parasite were both players that have that. There's no question that they're two of the best players in the game. I mean, period. They deserve to be on top 4 team all day long. I mean, those guys there's potential for us to go into the next event, and both Study and Parasite can end up beating the team we put together right now. You never know. It's on the day. But at the same time, it's my job to help the players on our team be in a position where they're confident and they're focused. And for Anthony and Merc, I felt like they have that mentality right now, and in full. And I wanted to bring 2 more players that I felt like could match the intensity and the focus that Nameless and Merc are bringing to the table. So that's my job, man, as a manager. That's how I feel. I feel like, when you have two players who are dedicating themselves fully, then give them two players that are, and I think Studdy and Chris are both capable of being 100%, focused. I think Chris proved that when he won multiple championships in Black Ops 2. But for some reason right now, just on this team, I think, there were things that, I don't know, I just felt like distracted both those guys, and we're just moving on.
Yeah. So obviously, JCap has been on the team before, and he's played a lot with Merc. And is there anything there? Because I know Merc and JCap have always been good friends, and they've always teamed before and with each other. Was there anything there that Merc was a driving force for it, or was it just the team in general just wanted that?
With JCap, really, I mean, experience. He brings to the table, and I feel like JCap hasn't had the same quality of teammates, I would say, that he used to have when he was winning championships. When he was on our team, and we performed really bad with JCap, and I'll just be honest about it. I mean, there's no reason that to hide any of that. When we've had JCap on our team, we were placing pretty bad last year. It was like one of our worst stretches in our team's history. It was the worst stretch for about 3 or 4 tournaments, and that was coming off like a top 2 finish at the World Call of Duty Championship in 2013, and just a lot of success before that. So bringing Cat back onto the team, I just feel like he's gained a lot of that experience that we're looking for, and he has the right mentality. I mean, that's just what it is. Like our team change was really fundamental in focus. So Cap has that.
Awesome. So, guys in the chat, listen, if you have any questions you want us to ask Castro, let us know. We'll try to ask him. I know he doesn't have too much time, so we don't want to keep him here all day. So, if you guys have anything you want us to ask, just let us know, and we'll get it on to him. But Creeper, you have anything specific you want to ask?
I mean, not particularly. It's going to be interesting to see how this team meshes up. You have quite a long time. I think it's roughly 6 weeks before G3. So, I mean, there's plenty of time to get together. But I don't know if you announced this or not. Are they moving into the house, or are you guys going to take a break with that and let everybody stay at home? Or
well, Jordan's going on a family vacation for like 9 days in the middle of July, like maybe 10 days. So, that's going to hinder things a little bit, but we still have plenty of time before Gfinity to get ready. So, yeah, I mean, I think the practice schedule is going to be kind of tight, but Formal, in regards to the house, Formal is already committed to moving into the house. Cap has committed to being down here when he needs to be down here a couple weeks before an event, but Cap is actually going to be going back to college. So when his school starts back up in late August, he is not going to be really around the house too much. So we're able to deal with that, and we're really kind of putting this team together to see what they can do over the next few events, and we'll see how it works out. I mean, like I said, I just felt like it was ready to make it. It was time for us to make a change when I saw the team kind of looking the way that they looked after Anaheim.
yeah, you guys, Envy is one of the top names in esports, and you expect them always up there in top 3 competing for championships. And if it's not happening, something has to change regardless. And people are going to say, you said this, but then you did that, and they don't look at the big picture on getting to that championship position.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of questions in the chat, but I'll let you guys ask them.
So a lot of people I've seen number 1 have asked about Rambo. What's Rambo's situation with the team now? People are asking why he wasn't asked to join the team, but I don't want to push that. Just what's the current situation?
Let's just put it this way: Rambo's in a great position, like really, really good position, and you guys will hear more about that soon.
Dropping the T's.
Yeah, I that's all I could say. Rambo's, he's mentoring our team, and he has a lot to do with what we did today. I mean, he is very involved in giving his opinion and what he thinks should happen with the organization in terms of the competitive pro team. And I'm really thankful he's sticking around with us, and he's got a really, really bright future ahead. So, like I said, you'll hear more about that later.
Yeah, that's definitely good to hear. You always want somebody, one of the original people from Call of Duty always sticking around and helping out when possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
So one more question. I've seen a lot of people mentioning Formal playing in a Halo tournament coming up soon, and if you're worried about that at all with his performance for the team, is there any concerns there? Or?
Not at all, man. Not at all. No, well, I'll say it's awesome. I mean, I would love to support Formal. If you wanted to play Halo and Call of Duty at the same time, I would be totally fine with me. But the problem, as you guys know, at our events, is that they usually get played at the same time at a lot of events. So, it's just one tournament he's going to go and have some fun with, and it's kind of downtime for Call of Duty right now during July. So, yeah, I think he's good to go on that. He can easily go play in that tournament. I bet you he'll perform well too.
No, absolutely. With the new Halo coming out, it's going to be interesting to see with him. Hopefully he sticks with COD, but we all know where he came from.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's no doubt he's going to do well.
I mean, I know time's running, short here for you. Pretty much answered.
I'll sit here and talk to you guys all night long about this if you guys want.
Oh, jeez.
I'm really not. I mean, I have to get going a little bit, but yeah, I mean, this is obviously a big change for our team. So I just want to make everybody clear on what we're doing, and it's one of those situations where I'm here to talk. You got 3,000 people in here, and I mean, my timeline has just exploded. So if it means that much to you guys to be here and listen, then I'll talk to you about it.
All right, so since you got some time, a lot of people are asking, why not try out Apathy for the team, try to contact him or replays or things like that. Like, did you guys talk about other players, or was just you kind of knew you wanted Formal and J-Cap?
Yeah, Apathy was definitely an option, and we wanted to have him here. I mean, I think if we were going to make that change, but once we knew that, the guys kind of wanted to pursue and move, and once he signed with FaZe or got over to FaZe, I think FaZe had worked out a deal with TK for him. I think Apathy wanted to stick around with FaZe just because of what Tommy did for him. Which when I talked to Tommy, that's something that they made happen, and Apathy wanted to kind of stick around there. So that's great, man. Like that's all good, and I think Apathy is an amazing player. So yeah, he was definitely an option, and any of these guys, it was basically between Apathy, J-Cap, and Formal the whole time. There was really nobody else in the conversation. Just because other teams have contracts in place and so on and so forth. And, it's one of those situations where you can't just expect to go and buy out anybody from another great team. So with Formal, like I said, even though he wasn't under contract with FaZe, so he was approachable, I still talked to Tommy about it. I know Tommy didn't want to lose him. Tommy cared a lot about Matt, and ultimately I think what happened was after I talked to Tommy and Tommy didn't really want to let him go, I kind of told my players to back off, but then Matt, I think, kind of voiced his opinion and said he wanted to go. So at that point I called Tommy back and said, look, we'll take care of the situation and make it a deal.
I have a question just about all the roster changes in general here. Back in the day, you used to have when somebody needed a player, they'd wait a week or so, try out 3 or 4 different people. But now it seems like literally the second you drop somebody's picked up right away. Is that just because the fear of maybe losing that player to somebody else, or people just not concerned about trying to see if the chemistry's there? I mean, with you guys, Cap has a lot of chemistry in the past and whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like in the past, the really old rosters of Envy never really had team changes. Like we don't like making them. I'll tell you that. I especially hate making team changes. It's not something I like to do. It's definitely not something that's enjoyable. I'll tell you that much. I actually do care a lot about Parasite and Study as people, and Study probably made me laugh more than anybody, and I had such a good time with him, and I just wanted to watch him grow up on this team, and Parasite, the same way. Like he's doing things in his life right now that made me admire him every day. The kid is like tough as nails. So I learned a lot from Study and Parasite, and I really am like emotionally sad to see them go. But at the same time, again, like you have to put what's right for your business ahead of all the personal stuff, because we're in competition. We're here for competition. That's what makes us who we are. And when you get distracted, the team gets distracted from that, you can't let the emotional, personal stuff get in the way, and the friendship. You just have to kind of put that to the side, and that's what it makes you feel cold a little bit, but at the same time, I hope the fans of our team can appreciate that it's the right decision. I mean, it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah, you always got to look out for the business. Number one, a lot of people don't understand that at the end of the day, but without the business, it wouldn't be around. Nothing would be around. Excuse me. But it just kind of seems like some of these teams, I'll throw out Denial, for example, their whole roster is basically gone. And they're just bringing in new people, right away saying, this person's joining, without, playing with them, running through scrims or whatever to see if they fit. I think that could potentially, be a huge problem in terms of teams sticking together because they don't know if they're going to mesh well or anything like that.
Yeah, and you know what? If here's the deal, I'm trying to find the 4 players that can stay on this team and play at a high level consistently, and I know they're giving it 100%. Right? I haven't found that yet. We haven't had it on our team in a long time. It was COD 4 through Modern Warfare 2 since we've really last had that, I'd say, when our team was just really dominant. And, that's 2007 through 2010, 2011. And, since then, we really haven't had that. And you know what? If I have to keep making roster changes to get to that point, I will, because that's my job. My job is to make our team more competitive and to win championships. Like, we want trophies, and we won't stop doing it until we find the right team to do it with. So, I mean, that's just the gist of it, and that's why roster changes happen, because that's what this is all about. We unfortunately we don't have a sport that's so developed like the NFL or NBA to where the money keeps people on a team and keeps them happy. It doesn't work that way. Not yet. Not here. Not right now. So when people are able to make these kinds of moves and changes, then yeah, they're going to happen. But I would say team changes are drastically slowing down because more teams and players are being limited by what they can actually do based on contracts and more formalization. So, that's something you can expect as a fan of the sport to slow down. You won't see as many roster changes. I think it's actually slowed down considerably. Last year was probably the pinnacle of it, but yeah, at this point now we're just we're really trying to do what I just said. Put together a team of guys who we're always confident in, and I think you see that with EG, and I think you see that with Optic right now. Both of those teams have those guys and that they've been looking forward to lock up for a while. Optic, is a good example. I really am a fan of what they've done. Like, I actually admire, what they managed to do. And I actually gave Nate a fist bump the other day, and I just told him how much he's improved and as a player, and nobody can take that away from himself. Like, that kid had a lot of criticism, and now, look at him, look where he's at. So when our team is able to achieve that again, where we used to be, then it'll be great.
Yeah, so I actually have a question that was in the chat. A lot of EU players have been getting really more involved, and obviously we saw Mad Cat come out to Anaheim to compete with Elevate. Have you guys considered bringing an EU player over to the Envy House to compete for the team?
Yeah, I've been talking about it a lot, I've been talking about it. Like, I really kind of wanted to do it this time around. But we had options still, and it's really tough to do that, man. To bring over a European player to the US to play. Like, I'm taking care of our guys now, and our organization is taking care of our guys. Like, we did have 1-year contracts in place with both those players, but we're able to terminate them, right? But we're paying a monthly salary, even though it's not a ton of money to these guys, and they have opportunities to make a living with us based on other things in that agreement. So, this is the direction we're headed. I want to make this a job for those guys. To bring in a European or a foreign player in is very, very tough because you're not allowed to pay them based on U.S. immigration laws. So we're actually going through that with Rambo right now. I don't think we've really been public about it, but we've been working on Rambo's P1 visa, which is a professional athlete visa here in the U.S. So we've been on the grind for that. I've put in a lot of work for it, and that would allow him to actually earn money here in the U.S. Through our organization. So we've been doing that a lot. We've been working on that, and to do that again would be just a considerable amount of work. And I would say we'd be more so in a position to do that over the course of the next 6 months if we wanted to do it, to actually bring foreign players to the U.S. to play for our team. But it does take, like I said, a considerable amount of work from immigration attorneys to get that done.
Yeah, that's, I think, what was it, Dota now? How's that rule? Or League of Legends, to where, people can travel and live international. Hopefully, it'll expand over to COD, or, people like Rambo can get accepted into that. But, let's talk about Anaheim just real quickly in terms of just, the event itself, the atmosphere, and, everything like that. How did it compare to events that you've been to in the past?
Oh, that's a good segue. All right, let's move away for a little bit. So Anaheim was awesome, man. MLG has been really giving us pretty solid resources and making things a little bit better and better as we go. When I got to Anaheim on Thursday, I went right away to the venue. I couldn't keep it in. I actually wanted to see what they had planned. So they let me in the venue really early on Thursday, and I was just immediately blown away by the stands, the grandstand that they put in, and the additional seating and the massive projector screen and the quad split and all that good stuff that they gave us in Anaheim. So the event right away on Thursday when I came there, I knew it was going to be very big. And Adam Apicella from MLG and operations there, he told me quite a bit about the ticket sales and said that they had sold so many tickets and VIP passes and so on. So I knew there was going to be a crowd there, but it really hit me when Optic EnVy played on Friday night. Saturday? Saturday, yeah. Saturday night. That crowd was the most hype crowd I've ever seen. And although we had a lot of fans there rooting for EnVy, I mean, they were just quiet because Optic, obviously had a great match versus us, and their fans were just something else, man. So, that stuff didn't make me bitter at all. I was actually so excited to see that kind of fan base pool for a team like Optics fans did there. I think it was incredible, and it just shows a lot of progress, and it's just amazing to hear a crowd roar that loud and get that hyped up.
Yeah, it was really one of those events where it was on another level, but especially the chants. I've never heard chants like that for a Call of Duty event. It was insane for sure.
Yeah, it was just a sign of what's coming, man. I mean, I think this is just going to keep growing, and like I said, there are 3,500 of you listen to me rant about stuff in here right now, so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and we all appreciate it. Even though my timeline gets filled with a lot of criticism sometimes from people who think they know everything, I appreciate that involvement. I appreciate people caring about it, so it's pretty sweet.
So another small segue, obviously, we were all waiting for Season 3 rules to get announced, and last night there was a team owners meeting for the league. What's your opinion on MLG kind of stepping in on the roster changes here and trying to be a governing body for that side of the community? Do you feel it's a good thing? It's a good step? Did they work well with the team owners trying to come up with an ideal situation for everyone? Or just if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think it's great. I think we need it. I really actually appreciate it. I mean, there are point people at MLG now really working to be progressive and help us out and help organize things more, because there are a lot of things that are happening now, and it's becoming more of a business. And I think anytime that happens, business and money can cloud what's right sometimes. And I think that's a good thing. Anytime we can organize more, it's going to help us in the long run and make things more official. And there's more of a rule set there that we can live by that kind of governs everybody. So all those team owners, man, they're ridiculous. I gotta tell you guys, if you don't follow the owners of some of the teams in esports and COD esports, definitely go do that. The owners and managers, they are hilarious, man, and they're all good people. So I'd say just follow them just as much as you follow the players, because they actually work really, really hard and are a big reason a lot of these guys have the opportunity they have.
Yeah, a lot of those, I know for a fact. I mean, I've talked to a little bit with the Denial owner and the Elevate owner, and all those guys are really good guys. They're really interested in the growth of the community. Those teams really started giving a lot of, I don't want to say unknown players, but some of the lesser known players a chance to really come up. And obviously, Denial had a team house for a while, and So they're really investing pretty good amounts of money in the community trying to make things happen. So it's one of the things people have to appreciate, and I hope it works well for them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've been there before, man. I mean, we didn't we didn't get here by um, not investing money in. So, for those guys like the smaller teams that are just getting into it, like the Denials, Elevate, um, even like Justice, Rick there, who's been kind of around for a while now. Um, these guys are putting a lot of risk into it and really working hard to grow their teams, and we need more teams involved, right? So at a professional level, so those guys are sacrificing a lot right now, and certainly taking a risk and spending their own time doing it. And you just got to appreciate it. If you're a fan of COD esports, you got to kind of learn about who those guys are and what they're doing, because they're technically making history here, and we all together are kind of in this boat. So I don't have enough things, or I there's not enough time for me to say all the things I'd want to say about all the other team owners that were in the meeting last night with MLG.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, they're all great guys and they're all working really hard. So like a little bit over to the roster changes for a tiny bit. Um, Obviously, before you guys announced the changes and before things were starting to come together a little bit more, people were going off about a possible second MVS team. I'm sure you saw it, Merc, JCab, Rambo, Big Timer, all those kind of tweets. Have you guys considered a second MVS team recently at all, or are you guys really just trying to stick with the one?
Um, we've definitely considered it, but I would say it's just not right in our positioning right now, because we just really want to maybe potentially expand into other games. So I would say that's our priority instead of expanding into with the second Call of Duty team right now.
Yeah, it's such a it's not too many not too many orgs who have been Call of Duty specific have really branched out. Obviously, a lot of the PC organizations have came in the COD, but not many of like the teams who have originally been here. Like Fear, Envy, Optic have really moved over to the other games yet. So
Yeah, I mean, I think Optic has announced the Halo team, and that's something we're looking at doing as well. So that's maybe a little hint, but um, and it doesn't stop there. We're looking at other games too, and we're really close to maybe making some things happen there.
One thing what MLG announced with the rules today that I, don't disagree with, but I have a kind of a problem with, is the fact that, the 48 players who qualified are the only 48 players that can be picked up, to where, some of the major names that have been in COD for a while, Method, Stainville, people like that, might possibly, be pushed to the back burner for quite a while. Was that something that, I understand they have to protect the players as well as the organizations, but it just feels like some of these players, got the short end of the stick there on that decision.
Yeah, but I think that's, there are still players that can come in as a substitute at this point. Yeah, I don't really. At some point, you gotta start somewhere. I think that's where we are, right? Like you gotta start formalizing it somewhere. And yeah, it sucks. It's like one of those situations where, uh, you know, um, those players are kind of left out in the dark a little bit. But um, I don't know, man. I don't know how to address it in any other
No, I
way
know what you're
other
saying.
than
Yeah, I feel the same way.
you can't. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Agreed.
It's just a tough spot. So, um, honestly, I would want to even learn more about that scenario before I comment on it too much, because I actually don't know all the players that got left out of that.
Got you, of course. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll all work itself out. They'll all be picked up as subs. I'm not too sure what they're doing with the FaZe Red spot in the league. But who knows? They may find a way to sneak onto a team that's added in there.
But don't, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, those players actually didn't qualify with their teams in open bracket, right?
Correct. Yeah, like
So I mean, at the end of the day, like that's where they were positioned. They didn't make it to season 3 with a qualified team. I mean, unfortunately, that's where they are, right? And it's a bit on them too. They have to perform with their teammates
Oh no, I agree
to make
completely.
it
Yeah.
to make it into the season. So there's not really a whole lot of that I could say other than that.
No, yeah, it's just kind of weird going into the next season. It's like, all right, there's no Stainville here. He's been here for so long. What's going on?
Yeah,
It's just going to be a little bit of a change, and hopefully it works out for the best.
right, exactly.
Been looking through the chat looking for some questions, and not a whole lot of appropriate questions.
Oh man, some of them are crazy.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah, you can't do anything nowadays without trolls or people coming out just messing around.
Well, I mean, if that's it, I can take
Yeah,
off. But
I think we're gonna wrap it up here, man. For right now, we're actually gonna bring on Zuma here in a moment, guys. Talk about his
nice.
team and the plans. He went absolutely off this weekend, so we'll bring him on. And I do thank you for coming on tonight, of course, Astro, and best of luck in the future.
Yeah, man. I actually caught a match that Zuma played in, and it was pretty ridiculous. So I actually was like, Zuma's going off in this match, and so that's good for him, man. He certainly made a name for himself. So you guys should definitely keep tuning in and talk to him, and that's how you discover new players, man.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Well,
So
thanks for having me,
Astro,
guys.
yep, thank you for coming on. As always, anytime you want to come on, just let us know.
All right.
Guys in the chat, we'll be right back. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna have Zoom on. We're gonna continue talking about roster changes. We'll get his opinion on it. We're gonna talk about denial, and we'll go from there. Reminder: if any of you guys in the chat want to have a chance to come on the show at the end of the night, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, and we'll pick a few subscribers to come on and talk to us. So, guys, we'll be right back. Make sure to stay tuned. Tweet the stream. Welcome back to ESNLateNight, episode 56. As always, guys, I'm Hype, and we have Zuma with us now. Zuma, how you doing?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Obviously, we're already 45 minutes in the show. Everything's going good. The chat seems to be enjoying it, so it seems like it's gonna be a good one.
Yep.
So obviously, it's been a crazy week for you and your team. First of all, I just want to congratulate you on an amazing performance at Anaheim. I know the placing might not have been what you guys were hoping for, but everyone just from watching knows you went completely off the whole event. So do you want to start off by talking about Anaheim, what happened there, and what led to your team kind of splitting up?
Yeah, Anaheim was crazy. Anaheim was my first MLG event, so that was pretty insane, especially since it was one of the most viewed events. There was a lot of people there. It's probably the biggest one they ever had. So it was pretty crazy, but yeah, I went into it. I had a mindset going into it to not be called a warrior when I'm coming out of that event. The last day, I didn't want to be called a warrior anymore, so I knew it was important for me to go off. I went into that event wanting to win, and obviously we didn't get the placings that we obviously didn't want to come into last place, but at the end of the day, we went 1-2, and 5 of the top 8 teams went 1-2 as well. So it's just kind of sucks for us on how the seedings went down. Because if we had a better seed, we would have placed top 8 and had a better placing. But it is what it is. But yeah, I mean the roster didn't really work. I mean we did click and everything, but we were good friends. And we had a lot of chemistry. But at the end of the day, I thought I had to make a move and try and find some new guys to play with on Denial, and that's exactly what I did. That's basically it.
All right, well, obviously, like I said, you had an amazing event. I think the most memorable point of the event for me, as far as you goes, uh,
Mm-hmm.
was the three-piece on the final round of S&D against Curse Black.
Yeah, against Curse Black, yeah.
Was
Yeah, I think that's where most of my name came from, was when I was sniping, because I was doing really good with a sniper in S&D, so I think
fuck,
that's where a lot of
it was
the,
going crazy.
yeah.
On
So
a quick,
I'll ask, how'd you guys get replays? Because early in the day, replays announced, not officially, but basically, he was going to be done. He was going to take care of some stuff in his personal life, and just didn't want to deal with it right now. And a couple hours later, it's like he's on denial. So how'd that conversation go and how'd that work?
Well, I mean, a lot of that goes down when players get dropped emotionally. They just go straight to Twitter, and because it hurts to get dropped. Nobody wants to get dropped. People think that their lives are over and they're never gonna get picked up by another team. But I think Replays is one of the best players in the game, to be honest with you. I think he brings everything you need, whether it's OBJ, slang, or talking in game, which is one of the biggest things. We needed a leader, and I think that Replays is definitely one of those guys. So I definitely hit him up as fast as possible. And yeah, I mean Replays. As soon as I hit up Replays, he said he was down to play, and he was definitely like a really good one for me. I was really excited to finally get someone that I really liked on the team, because I was really picky with who I chose. So picking up Replays definitely got the train started, and it was really exciting.
yeah, sorry about that. Creeper had to step away for a small second.
That's fine.
But yeah, like you said, obviously, I'm sure it was a quick second thing, and obviously everyone gets upset. A lot of people got upset today, and a lot of people actually said they were retiring, and I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of these people again. Like I said earlier, Ving2 said he's retiring. Legal said your old teammate said he was retiring. Slack said he was gonna take some time away. Replays did. John did. Apparently, John was a troll. Yeah, so you get upset, and it's like, well, what's the point of playing anymore? Especially if I'm not going to be able to play for where the big money is. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
understandable.
exactly. Yep.
So I'm back now. Sorry. When it comes to picking up Saints as well, did you reach out to him after he was released, or did he come to you guys?
Yeah, I went to Saints. I mean, I went to a lot of guys, and I definitely had people higher on the list than others, but we definitely wanted to find slang power. That's what I'm all about in this game. I feel like the higher your slang power is, the better you're gonna be, and I think that's what makes EG so good, is that all 4 of them can go off at any time. So I definitely wanted slang power. I know Replays has it, and I know for sure that Saints has it. So when I talked to Saints, I said, "Hey, you down?" I know a lot of people don't even want him because of Gfinity. He doesn't have a passport, and we're not even going to Gfinity. So I definitely thought it would be a good pickup for us. So I hit up Saints, and we talked it over, and he said he was down to play. I mean, it would all depend on who we picked up, because Saints doesn't want to stay on a team if we can't get good other players. But when when Ray plays isn't it, and then other players that we have in mind who we haven't picked a fourth yet, but there are a lot of fourths in mind that we might release soon. We're not really sure. We might even wait for the draft. So it all comes down. Saints said he would play, and it's just me replacing Saints right now, looking for a fourth. And also, I was listening to you guys talking about with Hastro saying like, oh, you guys are just picking up players randomly, and that might not work, and that we don't really have chem and stuff like that. But it's not. We're not just picking up players randomly. I'm picking up players that I know perform on land consistently. There's a lot of players who are in my on the list that I said no, I don't want them, or I'm not gonna go for them. I'm making strategic decisions. I know what I need to do to win, and I know the players I need to win. We're all three players, all three of us are down for winning, and that's all we want to do is win. So it's really important for us to make the right moves, and that's why we haven't released a new fourth yet. And it might take a couple days. It might be tonight. We don't know. We want to make sure that we're making the right decision, especially since denial. We work with contracts under denial, so we definitely want to get the players contracted, and we want to make the best move and the right move possible. So it might take some time, but patience is a virtue. So we'll see how it all goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. No, team just got put together. Have you guys discussed possibly going to the team house together, or are you guys just going to stay where you are now and, maybe in the future do something like that?
Yeah, no, the team house was definitely talked about. I don't think we're all gonna go to the team house, but players would definitely be able to go there anytime they want. I know Saints is telling me he would want to go there, and we were talking to a few fourths, and I can't say where, but they might want to go to the team house. I can't say who they are, but they really want to go to the team house. But yeah, the team house is there for anyone. Even if we go there before an event, maybe for a week, we could get the whole team there, just to build up some chem before the event, and be able to spend some time with the team. It'll be good. So that's what the team house is for, basically, just to get the team together whenever we can. But yeah, as of right now, I'm not really sure who's going to be moving in there. I know I'm not. Maybe this summer, maybe like before UMG Dallas, I might go there for a couple of weeks. But I know during the fall and everything, I'll be going to school. So for me, it's not worth going to the team house.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotta focus on school, man.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's jump away from your team real fast. I want to get your opinion on the whole Curse situation with Burns. As everybody knows, Burns was released from Curse. A lot of people were very upset about it, and 3 or 4 hours later, he's back. What do you feel about that situation? And just let everybody know what you think.
I'm sorry. Repeat that real quick.
What do you think about the whole Curse situation, like with them releasing Burns and then bringing him back a few hours later?
Curse to me is, I don't really know what they were doing, to be honest. Like I said, you gotta make sure you're making the right decision. You can't just keep telling people like, oh, all right, we're bringing this guy on, and then 2 hours later he's gone. And it's different if a player sketches and they're not in control, but you need to be 100% positive that you want somebody on the team. I mean, look at Envy. People were asking all day for Envy to make a decision, and Hastro was smart about it. He was being strategic about it. He was really thinking about who he was picking up, and that's what you need to do. You can't just make decisions right off the bat and just pick players up as you go. You need to be strategic about it and be 100% positive. These changes have to be made to make a better team. So when Curse is like, all right, we're picking up. I mean, I know behind the scenes who originally they were gonna pick up. So I'm not gonna say that because I don't want to put any names out there. But then I guess something happened and they brought Burns back. And then there was rumors about Tipsy getting dropped and then bring another guy in. And then Tipsy was welcomed back. So Curse just has the same old team again. They're a great team. Curse is a great org, and they have a lot going for them, especially after playing a top 4. They just placed top 4. So they're a good team. They definitely have a lot going for them. And for next event, I don't know if they're going to Gfinity or not. I don't know. I really don't think a lot of NA teams are even going to get invited to Gfinity. But I don't know if they're going, but they definitely have the momentum going into the next event and the chemistry since they're all sticking together. Definitely a great team, and they have a lot of good chemistry. So nothing for the best for them, but yeah, that's about it.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some chat questions. If you guys have anything you want to ask Zuma about his team, about his opinion on other team changes, anything like that, put in the chat, and we'll pick a few of them out and try to ask them. So yeah. So let's do that a bit. Guys, he said he's not in the place to talk about his fourth right now. So try to stay away from those questions as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we have fourth in mind. It's just we don't really want to talk about it, release anyone, and because again, we're not 100% positive on who we want, so we don't want to say anything right now.
Somebody asked a good question. I know you said you can't mention, much about your fourth, but has there been any talks with, Classic at all? Because we all know him and Replay is, friends in real life and have teamed together. Has there been any discussion about that at all, or is he just going to take a step back and not play right now?
Like I said, there's a lot of players in mind. There's a lot of players on the list. Classic was definitely on that list. But there's also, 6 or 7 other players on that list. So, Classic is a great player, but there's also other great players out there. So it's hard for us to make a decision. And we also, it's not just me making the decision. I got to talk it over with my whole team, make sure everyone on the team wants Classic on the team. But, Classic's not the only one. He was definitely in the talks, but there's other people on the list. So.
Of course, keeping your options open.
So I have to ask you, I was really impressed yesterday. Not impressed because it was a big amount, just impressed that it was like he went out and said that. The owner of Denial, he posted on Twitter basically something along the lines of, anyone who Zuma wants to team with, I'll sign a $500 a month salary and a signing bonus. So like obviously, the owner of Denial is willing to invest money in the team, and what does this mean for you guys? Obviously, if he's willing to put money to the players, does that help you guys out a bit, especially because it's like you're getting salary, you're getting paid to play games.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a lifelong goal for most of us in here. But how does that feel for you personally, and just working towards winning events and things like that? How does that help you?
Well, for me personally, I love it because I was under contract with the Nile, so if any org even did want me, they would have to buy me out, which originally was a problem for other orgs because I did get offers from other orgs and they just weren't interested in buying me out if they had to. But to be honest, I wanted to stay with the Nile from the start. I just wanted to bring on new guys. It's just for me, it was hard to bring on new guys because I didn't know who was a free agent, who would come over to Denial, because a lot of pro teams now, they do have salaries, and players from some of those big name teams don't want to come over to a team with no salary. So Denial adding in salaries and contracts not only helps with teams sticking together, but it also helps the team staying and making a career out of it, making it their priority if they're making a salary off of it. So for me, the salary also helped me quit my job. I worked a lot. So even when I was on Denial before Anaheim, I was working so much. Like, it was crazy how many hours I put into work. But now, with the salary, I don't even need to work anymore. I'm probably going to quit my job. I cannot wait to tell them that I quit because I hate my job. So, the salary is a good thing, and the contracts are all a good thing. Every team should be having a contract. I agree with the contracts. I'm tired of the COD community. Everybody's leaving. It's little kid shit. Sorry for cursing on stream. Sorry about that.
You're fine. Preach.
All right, it's just it's little kid shit. Everybody's always leaving, and everybody's always switching teams, and all this dumb crap. So it feels good that teams are starting to get into contracts and stuff. And even like people say in the chat, like 500 a month, like, oh wow, you're a baller. Oh wow, that's not a lot of money, but it's it's money, it's revenue, it's money coming in. It's whatever it is, whatever it is, I'll take it, and it's good. It's enough to make me stay, and it's enough to make other players stay. And I don't care about people knowing my salary. There it is, like, it's out there. I really don't care. And contracts should be with every team, in my opinion. I think more teams should get into contracts. To be honest, I'm tired with the little kid crap that goes on in the community. Stop believing in going. Stick with a team and grind it out with your team. And I'm kind of hypocritical because I just dropped my whole team. But I'm doing it for the long run, and I'm hoping guys stay.
Yeah, for people talking in the chat, 500 a month isn't anything. But you got to remember also, when he tweeted that out, the owner of Denial, you have the option to come stay at the team house. Expenses paid for.
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, you got other stuff like stream revenue. Everybody knows this, so I don't mind letting it out because you get stream revenue and sponsors and other stuff. So I really don't care. I'll tell them anything. I could care less.
What you guys gotta understand too is it's like, you could sit there and play video games and make $500, or you could sit there and play video games and make nothing. So, obviously the 500 is worth it, and especially because it's a stepping stone. 500 now, and if the team plays well and Call of Duty keeps growing how it is, a year from now or 2 years from now, that could be 2,000, 2,500 a month. It's a progression. It's just one of those things. 2 years ago, players being completely salaried was a dream, and now it's reality for a lot of players more than anyone would expect.
Yeah, exactly. It's a career now, man. People want this for a career. Nobody wants to play video games just for fun anymore. People want to make a career out of it. They want to do what they love. And if there's no money involved, no contracts, it's never gonna become that at that professional level if teams just keep breaking up and players are acting like little kids, sketching on teams and you know what I mean, talking behind people's backs. It's like middle school all over again. And everything's always said on Twitter. Even me, like I'm really bad on Twitter. I tweet way too much and you know, at the last event, someone even said something to me like, "You need to chill on Twitter." I don't need to say any names. He knows who it is, and he's a really big player in the scene. So he even told me chill on Twitter. I've been relaxing on Twitter. I don't tweet as much nearly as I used to before Anaheim. Like I'm trying to stay a little bit more relaxed and trying to get drama free. I mean, people love drama, but at the same time, there's just a point where the drama needs to just chill and stay down. So definitely like. No, I'm willing to say anything. So, ask me any questions. I really don't care.
Now, before we move away from the dollar amount, move on to something else. Another thing you got to understand too is for a college student, 500 a month is pretty good, because considering if you work a minimum wage job for maybe 15 hours a week is what
Oh, yeah,
a regular
definitely.
college student might do, that you're still making more sitting there playing video games for that
Yeah,
time
put it
period.
that way.
So
The part-time job that I finally can't wait to quit is I'll be making more playing video games. I did not make 500 a month with my part-time job. I'll be making like 350, 400 unless I really put in the hours like a full-time job, then I can make really good money, but it was just too much work and I didn't have the time for it. And I didn't love it. And personally I'd rather take 250 doing something I love than taking 500 doing something I hate. So I love gaming and it's good for me and it's good for the team and it's good for the community.
yeah, it really is. Like I said, everything going on from this whole past year and even months coming forward, it's a stepping stone. It really is, and that's what we need to consider it as. And obviously things are going to change, people are going to change, rosters are going to change, and it's all a way of moving forward. So a question in the chat was obviously before, not saying legal, Noxide, and those guys weren't known, but obviously from here, the denial is picking up a lot more quote unquote known players. Obviously you have Saints on there, who's been around for a while. He's been on EnVyUs, Fear. Most of the big teams in the community he's been on, and obviously as well as replays. FaZe. He's been on VVV, TK, or not TK. Sorry, but yeah. So he's been on all those big teams for a while. So how does this change the org itself, and even the teams? Does this bring in more opportunities for you guys?
Definitely. I think that the org has definitely grown, especially before Anaheim. People remember Denial, but they don't ever remember Denial as a top team. And I wanted to make Denial that top team. I'm the captain of Denial, and I was proud to be captain of Denial. And I went off at Anaheim, and my goal after Anaheim was I want to be on a top team. And since I was still on Denial and had full control, my job was to pick up players to make it a top team. And I would do anything to make this team a top 4 team. And with just the 2 guys I have now, Replays and Saints, I know we're a top 4 team, 100%. I know we can beat anyone. We just need that right fourth, and if we don't get the fourth right, if we don't get that fourth player right, then we might struggle a little bit. That's why we are so patient on who we pick up with our fourth guy. We want to make sure we're making the right pick. We need to be 100% positive on who we choose, and we also gotta look at roles. We gotta look at what Replays does for the team, what Saints does, what I do, and then try and fill in the spot. Not so much who the better gun skill player is, or we got to find out the right spot and the right role for the team. So we're taking our time. We're being patient. We don't have a rush like with all these other teams picking up players and dropping them and then bringing them back. And we're not that type of team. I mean, unless a player sketches, I can't control that. As of right now, it's me Replays and Saints, and we're looking for a fourth. And we're gonna be patient and work for that team that we want, that top 4 team that we want.
Yeah, Mike, you have any questions? You want to throw one in?
Not off the top of my head, but I mean, it just kind of finally hit me that
MLG's,
the seasons that they brought up, nothing against Zuma here, but and a lot of people didn't know who Zuma was. I'd say 2-3 months ago, And now that the seasons are here, he got into season 2. Got into this. Anaheim made a name for himself, and now he's there. He has the name in the community. He has the big names around him, and if he can keep it up, I mean, it's it's somebody that came from nothing and now is something. So you can definitely tell it's working.
And that's definitely what you need to do. A lot of people are telling me, like, Zuma, how did you get into the scene and stuff? You literally just got to grind, and it all started from GB and grinding and making a name for yourself. That's what you have to do. You have to go to Atlanta and make a name for yourself, because that's the only way you'll gain respect. I didn't have respect from any pros from the last 7-8 months. I literally gotten straight hate from every pro. I couldn't even, every time I went off online, it was because of connection every single time. I had something to prove. And people say, "Oh, you have an ego now," and blah blah blah. And I don't have an ego. I'm confident. I knew I would do good, and I made sure I did good. And I want to win. I was really disappointed with how everything went out. And it wasn't my team. It was all of us collectively. We didn't place well at Anaheim. So I definitely want to place high. And I don't look at it as me having an ego. I look at it as me just having confidence. I know what we can do, and confidence is everything. I mean, you look at Aches, and everybody says Aches has an ego. Aches doesn't have an ego. He's confident, and that's why he's won all the tournaments in the past. It's because he's confident. And if you go into a tournament not being confident, then you're not going to win. 100% you will not win.
Yeah, I think that actually happened in Anaheim. They asked Censor, I can't remember what match it was. They're like, "What's your prediction?" And he was like 3-0 us. And
That's how you got to be.
Yeah, they lost the match, and they talked to him
Yeah.
afterwards. He's like, "You got to have that confidence. You got to say that. If you say,
you have to say that.
What do you want me to say? We're gonna lose this match? You're not gonna say that."
Even when people say, it's gonna be like a 3-2, 2-1, it's gonna be a good series. No, you should just say 3-0 flat out. We're gonna slap the shit out of these fools, and we're gonna play. And that's how you need to be.
Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. Basically, our producer was saying that Najib, if you guys don't know, is our producer, and he was saying something, and it got silent for a second. So, no worries at all, guys. We're all good here. Yeah, I think the chat's really liking how you're straightforward about stuff. 'Cause a lot of
I'm
people,
here to talk.
Yeah.
I don't care what I have to say. I really don't care. So, you got any questions? Let me know. I'll answer them.
Let's talk about the FaZe situation real quick. Just with the normal FaZe team now, with the current roster they have now, do you think that we can't? Of course, we don't know now because of chemistry and whatnot. But on paper, do you see them performing better than what they have been?
FaZe Black. I don't know. Dito said something the other day that I'm underrated, and Karma's a bitch, so that's gonna hurt him. So I can't wait to play him on LAN. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they could pick up a new fourth, they would do good. I need to see who their new fourth is. I really don't know. I think Forma was a big loss for them. I do think the Envy squad's kind of weird. I don't know, JCap and Formal, but they're all great players, especially all veteran players. They all know what they're doing. So I definitely think they'll be fine. They're smart, and Hastro's a really smart guy. He's had great teams in the past, so he definitely knows what he's doing. But on FaZe, I really don't know. I can't tell you how they would perform. Sensor's a smart player. Dito's really good. He's really good. Who's the last one? Apathy, right? Apathy's a great player. So it all depends on their fourth. I don't really know what they're gonna do. But I don't know. I'm trying to think how good they could do. But they're not, I don't. They'll be a good team. They're definitely still gonna be a top 8 team without a doubt. I think they just need to watch what they say. I think Sensor and Dito just need to respect some other people coming up. Because I don't know. For me, I feel like I'd be that. Like, some people were tweeting me yesterday saying, "Oh, Dito's talking smack about you." I didn't say one word to Dito. I didn't tweet him because I could care less what he says. And yeah, that's about it. Talk shit. I don't care. I'm here to be. I'm here to be. Just be professional about everything. And I'ma do me.
For those who keep asking me to ask Zuma about free agents possibly being there, he's not going to go into details about anything. They're going to work that out internally, and I'm sure when he's ready, you guys will find out. So,
yeah, you guys will find out, man. We can't rush anything.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll take another question here. So if anybody has a legit question for Zuma, not nothing crazy, we'll get him to answer that, and then we'll probably move on to talk about some other stuff here. Let's see if anything pops up.
some of the stuff in the chat just makes you laugh.
Yeah, trust me. It gets like this all the time. I'll ask this one just to see if it's a possibility or not. It is about your fourth. With Mad Cat, he's saying, he can't stay here right now in the U.S. Unless there was a team house and all this stuff. Has that been brought up at all with you guys, or are you guys just, looking internally within the, United States?
So you're saying, like, are we looking at EU guys, or like?
Yeah, would that be something like if
or
somebody
specifically Mad Cat?
They asked about Mad Cat, so.
All right, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, Mad Cat's in there too. There's a big list. Mad Cat's definitely an option. Can Mad Cat come to the States in the team house? For sure. I've talked to Mad Cat. He could definitely come here, but again, there's a whole list of options on who to pick up. We don't know what Mad Cat's doing. We know he was on ELV. It was ELV. So I don't really know, to be honest. There's a huge list. And people are just gonna have to be patient because they're not gonna rush into anything. And I see people in the chat like, what about Study and Haggy?
Yeah, that's why I haven't been asking it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hit up Study and Haggy. I want the list to get as big as possible. I haven't gotten an answer back from them yet. No, I haven't gotten an answer back from them yet, and we'll just see what happens. I don't know. We need a fourth, and that's all we're worried about. We're just trying to make the list as big as possible, and then narrow it down and see who we can get. That's about it.
All right, so what we're gonna do here is I hate to cut this off here, but we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some roster changes. We'll go into analysis. I'm not sure. We'll see if Zuma is gonna join us to talk about that or not. I'm not sure what his plans are, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But what we're gonna do is take a quick break. Come back, we'll do that. Guys, if you want a chance to come on the show later on, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll pick some subs, and we'll talk with you guys. So we'll be back in probably a minute or two, and we'll go from there. Welcome back, guys. I am Hype. What we're going to do here, for those of you just joining, We're going to recap all the roster changes, go down through the list, and then Creeper and I are going to go through, give our opinions, recap them, and then we'll bring in a sub and close it out for the night, okay? So let's just start basically earlier today. Curse Orange announced that the whole roster was then completely disbanded. So you have Mud Dog, Croaster, Miyagi, and Attach, who are just complete free agents now, trying to figure out what they're going to do. So it's going to be a rough one for them. Basically, then what happened was Curse Black dropped Burns. The main issue from that, from what we've seen, was some personal attitude issues between Burns and Mochilla, but they were able to work that out. And probably 3 hours later, Burns was picked up again back on the team. So that didn't last very long. Denial had a rough day today. Dropped some players, picked some people up. They've been going crazy all day. Obviously, we just talked to Zuma. Right now, the current roster is Zuma, Saints, and Replays, and they're going to be looking for a fourth. Then it got going a little bit more with some mass retirement of players. A lot of players tweeted out they're retiring. For instance, Thing 2 said that he was legal from the old Denial Squad, said he was. Slacked from Vex said he was. John said he was, and then said, no, I'm not going to. And Replay said he was before he announced he was going on to Denial. From there, it continued with Formal, leaving FaZe to go to EnVyUs, and JCap followed suit and went on EnVyUs as well, leaving Envy with JCap, Formal, Nameless, and Merc, and FaZe looking for one. And right now, the notable free agents that are able to go on a team due to the new rules for the league, the big guys who, and again, these are just all of them. Some of them may retire, whatnot. So, Classic, Legal, Noxide, Parasite, Study. Those are the bigger guys available to go on teams right now. So yeah, Creeper, you want to start and go through some of the roster changes? Talk about it a bit.
I mean, all these roster changes you could kind of see coming, except for with Curse. Like, I got up, checked Twitter today, and I saw that Burns had been released, and I was like, why? I thought he went off. I've known Burns for probably about 1.5 years, 2 years now, and nobody wants this more than Burns. And he played great this past event, and then 2 or 3 hours later he's back on the team. It's teams making decisions like that without backing them, I don't like to see. Like, if it was whoever's decision it was, if it's not a final decision, don't do it. You don't tweet out and make an announcement saying Burns is dropped and then talk to him about it and bring him back. That needs to be handled before the whole situation even happens. So, I mean, that was definitely, I guess, the biggest disappointment today. I'm glad he's back on Curse. He belongs to be on a team like that. But the way that it was handled, from either if it was the players, the managers over there at Curse, I don't know who it was handled very poorly.
And again, like you said, I've known him for probably 2 years. He's one of those players that always strives to win. That's all he really wants. He's been trying forever to get that solid team. And Curse Black is that solid team. They had a good performance. They got fourth at Anaheim, which was good for them. It was higher than I think most people expected. Throughout MW3, he led his team, Death Wish, trying to pick up different players, and he got some good players on the team. And a lot of them are somewhat successful now. Some of them aren't playing anymore, but still, he's always been that player that was in a leader position. He always kept his team together, and he always seems to do well. So for him to get dropped today, I was very shocked. I thought he would be the last one to be dropped from that team, to be completely honest. But like you said, with him back in the team, it's good for him.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Envy situation, everybody kind of saw coming in a sense. They knew a change was coming. We've heard rumors for the past couple of days that it was going to be Parasite, it was going to be Study, it was going to be both of them. Everybody kind of knew JCap would be coming over. But, Formal, that kind of hit me out of the blue. I wasn't quite expecting that, but I could see where they're coming from, wanting to get him. That roster is just going to be interesting to watch. I don't know, it's a very strange roster in terms of players' roles, and who can do what. It's just going to have to see how they mesh together, I guess.
And it's going to take some time for most of these teams to see what happens with them. Envy, I don't know. Some of these teams are going to be rough. I'm very curious to see what some of these teams do, especially I'm interested to see what FaZe is going to do, who they're going to pick up. I'm wondering who FaZe or Denial is going to pick up, and I'm really wondering how EnVyUs is going to do with this new team. I know a lot of people I saw tweeted, the team is a lot better with Study and Parasite on the roster.
Mhm.
I don't doubt J-Cap, and I don't doubt Formal for a minute based on their old performances and the experience they have. They are really the veteran players. Well, two of them. Obviously, Formal, someone new to COD, but he's a veteran Halo player. J-Cap has been in Call of Duty forever. He's won multiple titles. He knows what he's doing. So I mean, all these guys together are great players separately, but it's gonna be how they mesh together, and I'm a little worried for it.
Yeah, let's open up to the chat here just to kind of get your opinions. Who do you guys see FaZe picking up? Who do you think out of the people that are available right now, going to FaZe? Or if you think somebody's going to sketch, put that in there. I don't think anybody's going to leap for that spot. But, who do you guys think fits best in there? Hyping, if you want to kind of throw your opinion in there, that'd be great.
For which team? Did you say
For
FaZe or
FaZe.
Denial?
Yep, FaZe.
Oh, okay. So FaZe. The thing is this, okay? They need to pick up someone who's eligible to play. It really is a rough one because, like I said, they need to pick up someone who qualified for season 3, unless they want to wait and pick up 5 subs in the draft, which we can kind of go into later about how that works and the ins and outs of it. Because I know some of you guys are probably still confused with it. But I don't know who they could honestly pick up who don't really work with that team. Because like I listed some of the free agents before, and Classic is there, and Oxide is there. If it's gonna be anyone, it's gonna be Parasite or Study. And I'm not sure what the relationship are like between the players in those teams and those guys.
Yeah, that seems the chat is saying Study or Haggy quite a bit.
Yeah.
I did see a couple people saying Replays. Now I know Replays is very close with the whole FaZe organization and the owners over there. I could see it. I don't know if that team would want it, but I'm pretty sure I could see that happening. But I think the main options are going to be Haggy and Study.
Yeah. And someone in the chat made a good point. These rosters aren't locked yet. I mean,
This is true, guys. I don't think roster lock starts until like the 5th of next month or 2nd. So literally all the rosters that are being put together right now don't really mean anything.
Yeah, there's a weird breakdown right now. I'll actually go through and read it through so you guys can get an idea of what's going on with it, because there's a new period where players can move and different things like that. So basically, from June 25th, which is today, to July 2nd, players can declare themselves as free agents. It's a free period basically, so they can declare as free agents. The teams can release one player, and teams can add as many players as they need to. Whatever, and players can leave and join teams as they wish. From July 7th or July 2nd to July 7th, teams can only add players, so players can't leave at that point. July 7th to July 9th, players must join teams. So at that point, every single player who's eligible for Season 3 who actually wants to participate in the tournament must be on a team. If they're not, they won't be able to play in this season unless they decide to be a sub, which wouldn't make sense anyway. And then on July 10th is the draft, where they'll complete an 8-man roster, 4 subs, and their 4 main people. So that's basically the breakdown for that. So it's a new system. It's going to be very weird seeing how this goes next few days, and it's going to be confusing for a lot of people, I know.
Yeah, like I said, it's literally the rosters that are being announced right now are not final rosters for the Season 3, because in the end they can still change for the next week and a half or so. Hopefully it doesn't happen. We all enjoy a little bit of roster changes, but when you announce a team and then you drop somebody else and pick some, there's a limit. Too much is not a good thing.
I do have to say, I don't want to say this is better because it was always nice out of nowhere seeing a random roster change in the past, but it's kind of like now it's like within a 2-week period, all the changes are going to happen, and then they're going to be with that team for probably 3 months or whatever. So it's kind of nice. It's like it's a season. After it, you're going to have all of them together. It's not going to be spread out and random. So you kind of know all the big ones.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The one thing I don't like about it is the rosters are locked for the season. However, for instance, when MLG had X Games, people, drop players, picked up other players for their pro points just so they could attend. I feel that if you're going to lock them in for the season, they have to be locked in for anything, MLG related. That's something I would like to see them add on there.
That's the hard part, though, because then other teams could just add whoever they want, and it's kind of like then it would almost be like a not. I wouldn't say it would be a bad thing to be in the league, but
I believe it was Curse, correct, who picked up Saint for X Games.
Yeah, Curse Orange did that, and then SB picked up Fizzard.
Yeah. I mean, you have a team, and you're gonna. I just don't like the way that's set up, but roster changes are gonna happen.
Really quick, we're gonna keep discussing this, but we're gonna be setting up to bring in a subscriber from the chat. So if you're a subscriber in the chat and you guys want to come on the show tonight, talk with us for like 5 or 10 minutes, type in the chat so we can get you taken care of and added. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. And just like he said, Optic, EG, don't expect anything changing from them.
So someone actually, sorry to cut you off, actually tweeted something or posted something interesting here.
All right, take off slow mode, whoever has it on. I didn't even know slow mode was on.
I wasn't aware either. I'll fix that now. I'll take care of it. But anyway, someone actually asked in the chat if you think that Complexity will ever have a team or a team come back soon.
I believe Complexity said that they will be looking to bring a team back into the scene. Didn't specify, when, who, anything like that. You know what I think would be awesome? Is if somehow Complexity got a team and got that spot from FaZe Red. I think that'd be amazing.
It would. Now, we've seen some things on Twitter that apparently someone has already bought the spot off of FaZe Red, but there's been no official confirmation or announcement about it. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens with that. I'm waiting for an announcement from probably MLG. And yeah, if you are trying to subscribe to have a chance to come in last second, we'll probably get someone added in 5 minutes or so. So try to do that as quick as you can, and we'll get someone on here. Yeah, I mean, Complexity would be great to have them come on and bring a team. I've been waiting for announcements from them of who they're going to bring on, and I think everyone wants to see them return after their last dominant performance with that team. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. The only problem is I don't know if they'll ever be able to get a team like they had. You know what I mean? And I think they're going to be a little upset with that.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically, they have to understand that that's the best team in the game right now. Losing them or not losing them, but selling them to Evil Geniuses, you can't expect to come back into the community, have a top team, and still have the same results as you were having previously. There's a reason that they paid you for that team.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, slow mo was taken off, guys. Sorry about that. I wasn't aware it was even on.
Just blame Hype for it. It's okay, guys.
Yeah, you can blame me for anything. If you unfollow Creeper on Twitter, I'll be sure to give you a follow.
That'll never happen, Nick.
Creeper is loved by everyone. But yeah, so these changes they're really crazy. Everything's and to be honest, I hate even talking about them to an extent because I know probably these rosters are going to change again before we're done.
Yeah, and actually Dexpot, we talked about that last summer. All these roster changes probably deter a lot of the major organizations to coming into COD because you don't see that in other, things. You see a roster change here and there in League of Legends, but they're booked in for 3 months straight, doing everything. They have seasons, similar to like the league we have now, but just the way it works, there's not nearly as many changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, the attitude of some of the players in here, like if you remember back at UMG, Evil Geniuses was ready to come into this community, 8 months ago, something like that. And then we had the whole situation at one of the UMG events and some immaturity from people, and they backed out.
And it's expected that things that are going to happen. We understand that things happen, but it's to a point where things just need to settle down. I think we're going to see a lot more orgs coming in though now. I think I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if we seen maybe Fnatic try to pick up a team for COD or something like that. I think that'd be really amazing, and I think we're getting there. I think it's getting to that point. I don't know about you, Mike, but
well, yeah, they're still talking about organizations, and a lot of people in here, when they think Complexity, they think their COD team. as great as the Complexity COD team was, which is Evil Geniuses now, that's nowhere near the most popular team that they have.
Yeah, for sure.
They have all their other, PC gaming divisions are huge. So them coming back into COD isn't gonna, affect them that much in that sense.
Well, Base Guy followed you on Twitter. I'm gonna be following him. Thank you for that. I just saw the tweet. Awesome.
Yes, Mountain Dew. I would love TSM to bring a team to COD.
Yeah, Mike would be fanboying. Cloud9 too would be nice.
Nah,
I would
I'm no
really
longer
like
a
to
TSM fan. See,
really-
that's what roster changes do to you. I was a diehard TSM fan if you watch League of Legends, and now I can't stand them because of roster changes.
I would
But-
really love a dig team to come.
Dignitas, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I like that org. I like the name. I like the logo. I think it'd be cool to have them here.
Yeah. I mean, it's all the roster changes and everything. It's going to be interesting. Again, roster changes happen. We all like to sit back and speculate on, they'll be good, they're not going to do well, this and that. But in the end, have to wait. And it's going to be 6 weeks this time. We have the MLG Season 3, which will be starting up here shortly. However, it's not, it's not a true test until you're on land. So we just turned this into a League of Legends chat.
Beautiful.
I feel more at home now.
Kraber plays League of Legends way more than Call of Duty, to be completely honest with you guys. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting to see. I honestly feel that after looking at all the roster changes that have been made, I know there's still a couple teams that do not have a set roster. I don't know where they stepped. Like the EnVyUs situation, I can't sit here and say they're going to be better. I can't sit here and say they're going to be worse. Same with TK. I don't think that change, significantly helped them or hurt them. I mean, if there was problems internally that we don't know about, people not getting along, not liking each other, not communicating, then, something like this was needed to happen. But in terms of skill-wise and things like that, I don't see like that wow factor. Like, okay, yes, they are definitely a better team now because of this.
Yeah. And like you said, none of the teams did that in the past. When a lot of teams made a roster change, it was definite. It was like, yeah, this team just got 150 times better because of it. And yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's starting to wrap up for the night, guys. Like I said, if there's a sub that wants to come on, we'll bring you on. Also, if you guys have any questions, post them in here, and we'll answer a few of those while we try to get somebody else in here, and we'll answer those.
Yeah. Just a quick note. We're not positive about tomorrow if we're gonna have a show or not. Depends if any more changes happen. I know I talked to Study, and he said he'd probably be willing to come on the show tomorrow if we do one. So we'll see what we can do. We may have a show tomorrow. Just going to go over a few things I've seen in the chat the last hour or so that I wanted to touch on. Also, yeah, I hope you guys do like the new layout of things. I know a lot of you guys are complaining about the Twitter feed, and we're going to see what we can do about that. We're going to try to moderate it closely, and again, like we've done in the past, if it gets too out of hand, we will have to take it down, of course. But that's a time thing, we're not for sure on it. Like I said, guys, you do that. You keep it clean and it'll stay up. But if it gets out of hand, we'll have to take it off. No, the sub button is not broken.
Yeah, somebody just subbed like 2 minutes ago, so.
It should still work. You just have to click on it and go through the problem.
Flaw, we will not be bringing you on.
Flaw, if you want to subscribe, dude, that's fine.
Man, just so you guys know, here's some flaws like the original late night fan from last year. He's actually in ESN now, so.
That's yeah. Trevo's question.
The notable free agents right now are Classic, Legal, Noxide, Parasite, and Study. Those are kind of the top names who are eligible to be picked up right away without having to be drafted.
We'll take a few more questions and we'll kind of wrap it up for the night, guys. We're not going to keep going too much longer. We had a really good show so far, and we've been happy with it. So we're going to see what we can do from here. Get a few more questions, and then we'll kind of close out for the night. Panda, welcome to the chat.
Yeah, JCap is now on EnVy Snow, so that's where he ended up. I believe first place from the open bracket got 3,000, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be what they won at Anaheim Nation.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's through that. Yeah. You think Fear could ever possibly come back?
It's in Moho's hands, man.
Yeah, like Fear's been kind of dead for the last year and a half. I hate to say it because I used to be the biggest Fear. Well, not I don't want to say the biggest Fear fanboy, but I mean that was my team. That was the team I liked. I liked watching them. I watched all their videos. So I'm kind of sad to see them not really competing, not really in the scene. But they messed up last year. They kind of said, "Oh, we'll take some time off. We won't go to that event. Won't go to this event." And before you know it, it just ended up a consistent thing. And players left the team, and now there's just no team there. So, I mean, I'd really like to see them return in the next year or so. But if not, well,
Yeah, I mean, when you don't hear nothing from an organization or a team, and as long as we haven't heard anything from Fear or Moho, really, it's hard to say that they'll come back or do anything. I think it'd be kind of pointless to come back for this game, to be honest. If they want to do something, it'll probably be for the next one.
Yeah, I don't see them coming back midway through Ghost at all. And to be honest, if they don't come back by next year, I pretty much could see the org being done completely.
Everybody talking about extravagant.
I would love to see IXI back, and I know a lot of people in the chat would as well.
Who do we think Denial will pick up? I don't know. It's hard to say with that team. Assuming the roster stays the same as it is right now, I think, honestly, I couldn't even fathom who to pick out of these free agents that I'm looking at right now. I mean, I would honestly love to see Mad Cat get on a team over here in the U.S., consistently and move over here to see, how that could work out.
Do you think?
I don't think it'll happen, but I'd love it.
So someone asked, do you think Soar would ever come back? And these two teams, Soar and Dare, they're two big sniping organizations, and they've had teams in the past. I just don't think they'll bring them back. I mean, the sniping orgs are kind of really starting to separate themselves, and I hate to say it, but it's a lot of funding for a sniping team to put up. Unless you have numbers like Optic does, or unless you have numbers like FaZe, then it's really, really hard to do it. So, could I see them picking up a team again? It's a possibility, but I don't really see it being a priority for them at this time, to be honest.
Yeah, teams like Soar, they came into the scene. They had good teams, placed decent. But when you're coming into something like this, Crim6 has said they're picking up Walshy, so intel is out.
Beautiful.
But I don't ever see them coming back into the community, and if they do, it won't be at the top level.
Yeah, probably not. The thing is too, there's really a separation now. It's like I hate to say like good teams and like bad teams, but I might more call it major and minor. You know what I mean? Like a major league and the minor leagues of it, and it's rough.
Real
it
fast,
really is rough.
For those saying Fizzurp, going to Denial, it can't happen yet. The only way Fizzurp can get picked up is through the draft, because he did not actually qualify for Season 3 with the team. So he would have to be drafted onto a team of 3 players to be like an actual starter for him.
Yeah, the way the new system works is this basically, for drafting, if you go into it with your team only having 3 members, you can go into the draft and you have 5 draft spots instead of 4. You draft the 5 players you want, and then after you draft everyone, you could take one of the players and make them your starter. So then either way, you have 8 members on your team, 4 being starters, 4 being subs. So you can pick up whoever you want and make one of them a starter, and those are the main players.
If you don't know who Walshy is, you're new to the competitive scene, I can tell. Mm-hmm. Nah, he's a basically one, if not the most recognizable name in Halo, maybe outside of the Ogres.
Yeah.
See here, I haven't been hit up with any subs or anything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take like 2 more questions, and then we're gonna probably wrap it up for the night, guys. So don't waste them on anything silly. Let's see here.
But guys, every time we do a show, like I've said throughout this, subs will be brought on at the end of the night to talk, and we like talking with you guys, and I know a lot of you guys like talking with us, and it's just a way to make it so not 100 million people are hitting us up. We kind of lower it down to a lighter number, so it's easier to work with. So, if you want a chance to come on, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be sure to bring you guys on when we can.
Absolutely. Dun, dun. I answered a bunch of those, so I'm not going to do it again. By the way, if that team ever got together, if Hastro 4 played Rambo and Sidrock, I would be a fan right away.
Oh yeah, same. I would jump right on that. A lot of the old school players I really do miss, and for
Wild
those of you who were back
Turtles.
then, would you understand that.
Replays is on a team as of right now, but Wild Turtles asks, do you think Parasite, Replays, and Study will make a team of 3? The problem is FaZe Red has a spot. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, guys. FaZe Red has a spot right now, and they're no longer a team or organization. So basically what has to happen is somebody's going to take that spot. An organization's either going to buy it out. MLG will figure out what to do with it. So, I mean, it is an option that an organization comes in, takes that spot, and then, picks up these, current free agents and forms a team. So, I mean, that's definitely a possibility, but I don't see that situation happening.
Yeah. Someone asked if we ever see Big Timer coming back. Big Timer has made it clear that if Advanced Warfare is a good game, he would probably consider coming back and playing again. So depending how Advanced Warfare works out, we could possibly see him back. Yeah. We'll take one more question before we wrap it up for the night. Make it a good one, and we'll answer it before we go.
I just got it right now. All right, never mind. I'll answer one more. Alright, let's see here. Is Optic Nation
Considered a team?
Yeah, I would say so. They ended up, I believe, winning the open bracket, correct?
Yes, they did.
But they lost in the, they lost somewhere in the winners bracket itself. So they did lose to I guess, an amateur team, if you want to call them that. But I feel that team together can definitely potentially be a top team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that team will be good. Now that they're in the league, they'll really have a chance to show off their abilities and show what they're made of. Because last season, without being in the league and not being able to compete against the top teams in Anaheim, it really hurt them and a lot of other players. So, we'll just have to see what happens with that. Is that the last one we're gonna take from the night, then, Mike?
I think so. Somebody just messaged me on Skype saying he wanted to come on the show, but I don't know how he got my Skype or.
Was it Joe Lawton?
Yeah.
Yep, I don't know how he got mine either. I'm a little worried.
In before DDoS, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, listen. That's really gonna slowly kind of wrap it up for the night here. It's been a great show. We had Hash on, we had Zuma on, and depending on what happens tomorrow, we'll possibly have a show. If changes happen tomorrow, you can expect us to be live. I know Study said he might be willing to come on tomorrow. Maybe we can get Apathy on or one of those guys to talk about the TK to FaZe. Because I'm sure Apathy and maybe even Sensor want to come on and talk about the FaZe situation and what they're going to do. So we'll see about that. We'll see what we could do and see who we can get on. I like Creeper shouting himself out in the chat there, so I'm going to do the same. Overall, guys, we'll just get some quick shouts and we'll head out. Thank you for everyone tuning in. It means a lot. We wouldn't be able to do the show if you guys didn't come and watch every night. And I know I'm speaking for myself and Creeper and just everyone in ESN. We appreciate it. It means a lot to us that you guys come in here and listen to us every night. Make sure to follow Gamma and Scuff on Twitter. Make sure to follow myself at ESN_hype. You can follow my co-host Creeper at ESN_Creeper. And you can follow our producer at ESN_AirOnDoom. Thanks again to Hash Show and Zuma for coming on the show. We appreciate it. And as always, guys, have a good night.